The Ozarks don't look dangerous. That's the disguise. These are old, worn-down mountains, soft green hills folding into clear rivers and hollows across southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. People float the rivers with a cooler on their stomach. It's about as gentle as American wilderness gets, and the people who've lived here for generations will tell you, quietly, that the gentle look is exactly the problem. Because the Ozarks hide something specific, this region is a national epicenter for what the wildlife carries, and 2 of the diseases were discovered right here, in these hills, in the last 15 years. We're ranking 8 animals by how much genuine, hard-won fear they command from Ozark locals, weighted by what actually happens in these woods. We start with the ones you'd expect. We end with the smallest animal on the list and the one the locals fear most. By the end, you'll understand why an Ozark native checks their whole body after a walk a tourist wouldn't think twice about. If you love these hills or you're just drawn to wild places, go ahead and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps the channel. And tell me one thing while you're here. Where in the world are you watching from? And have you ever spent time in the Ozarks? Drop it in the comments. I read them. Let's get into it. Number 8. The Cottonmouth. We start in the water. The Cottonmouth, the water moccasin, is the venomous snake most tangled up in Ozark fear. And it's worth being honest about where that fear is earned and where it's inflated. Here's what locals near the big rivers know, and outsiders don't. The Cottonmouth is actually uncommon in the high Ozark interior. It's a creature of lowland water, the sloughs, the oxbows, the slow river margins, more at home on the fringes of the highlands than deep in them. So a lot of what floaters swear is a cottonmouth is really a harmless water snake, but where it does live, it earns the dread. Its venom is cytotoxic, it destroys flesh, causing extreme pain, swelling, and tissue damage, more potent than a copperhead's. And it has that reputation for holding its ground. The open-mouthed, white-lined threat display that gave it its name, thrown at a person wading a warm backwater in bare legs. Most of the terror, though, is misplaced. A snake that occasionally stands its ground instead of fleeing has grown into a mountain of legend. Moccasins dropping into boats, chasing swimmers. The reality is temere, and deaths are genuinely rare with treatment. That's why it opens the list, but it makes the first point the Ozarks teach. The danger here lives exactly where you go to relax. Number 7. The Black Widow. From the water to the woodpile. The Black Widow lives all through the Ozarks, and its danger is the danger of the overlooked corner. The exact place's cabin and holler life makes you reach into without looking. It's a shy, solitary spider. It doesn't hunt you and it doesn't chase. It spins a messy web in a dark, undisturbed spot, under the porch step, in the woodpile, the outhouse, the crawl space, the meter box, and it waits. Almost every bite happens the same way. A hand reaching for firewood. A body pressing into a web nobody saw. Glossy black, red hourglass underneath, it's one of the few animals here a local can name on sight. And the venom is no myth. It's a neurotoxin, drop for drop, far stronger than a rattlesnake's, and a serious bite brings waves of cramping through the stomach and back, sweating and pain wildly out of proportion to a puncture you can barely find. In the worst cases, it goes whole body, with nausea and a blood pressure spike that's genuinely dangerous for the very young and the elderly. It sits here because deaths are extraordinarily rare now, and the spider would far rather flee than bite. But it earns its place because of where it lives. Not out in the deep woods, but in the wood you're about to carry inside, which is why locals learn to knock one log against another before they pick it up. Number 6. The timber rattlesnake, back into the forest and up a level of seriousness. The timber rattlesnake is the largest venomous snake in the Ozarks, a heavy-bodied pit viper that can reach 5 feet, and it carries the most dangerous venom of anything in these hills, right at home on the rocky, forested slopes and bluffs. Picture where it lives because it's exactly where people climb, sunning on a warm ledge, coiled in the leaf litter at the base of a bluff, tucked among the stones of a glade. Its venom is potent enough to destroy tissue and stop the blood from clotting, and a serious bite, hours from a hospital up some gravel road, is a life-threatening emergency. Here's what keeps it at 6. The timber rattlesnake is, for a pit viper, remarkably even-tempered, reluctant to strike, and it usually gives the one warning nothing above it on this list will. That dry, buzzing rattle telling you to stop and back away. There's even a grudging respect to the fear because the snake is in decline, thinned out by habitat loss and by people who kill everyone they see. It dens in the same rocky outcrops generation after generation, and an old-timer will tell you where those den rocks are and then tell you to leave them be. Respect the warning and you'll almost always walk home. The trouble is what happens when the animal above it in the leaves gives you no warning at all. Number 5. The Copperhead. Which brings us to the snake that bites more people than any other venomous snake in the United States. The Copperhead is the most common venomous snake across the Ozarks, and it racks up those bites by doing the one thing the rattlesnake doesn't: it stays silent. It lives everywhere people do: brushy hillsides, mixed forest, wood piles, garden beds, the leaf litter along every trail and creek. And those coppery, hourglass crossbands are a near perfect match for dead leaves and dappled shade. Drop a Copperhead onto the forest floor and it vanishes while you're looking straight at it. Even the newborns are dangerous. Tipped with a bright sulfur yellow tail, they twitch like a lure. A Copperhead's whole defense is to hold absolutely still and trust that you won't see it. No rattle, no retreat. Which means the classic Ozark bite lands on somebody who never knew the snake was there, reaching into mulch, stepping over a log, putting a hand on a rock. Now the reassurance, and the reason it isn't number 1, Copperhead venom is comparatively mild. Its bite carries only about 0.1% fatality rate, and a good share of bites are dry, with no venom at all. But in the Ozarks, this isn't a rare backcountry encounter. It's the snake under the deck, the one the dog finds lying motionless and silent, exactly where your hand is about to go. We're at the halfway point, and from here up, the danger stops being the animals you'd expect. If you're still with me, hit subscribe. The top 4 are the ones that genuinely keep Ozark locals on edge. Let's keep going. Number 4. The brown recluse. At number 4 is a spider that can turn a bite you never felt into a wound that eats at your skin for months, and the Ozarks are its heartland. The brown recluse is common, sometimes genuinely abundant, throughout Missouri and Arkansas, and its danger is written into its name. It hides. It's a small, grayish-brown spider with a dark violin behind its head, and it wants nothing to do with you. It tucks into the little-used spaces of a house, closets, stored boxes, folded clothes, the woodpile, a boot left in the mudroom, and comes out at night. Here's the unsettling part the wildlife agencies say plainly. Because they're so secretive, you rarely see one. But when you do, there are usually many more. Ozark homes can hold populations in the hundreds. Most bites amount to nothing, a small red mark that fades. But in a fraction of cases, the venom goes necrotic. Over days and weeks, the skin darkens, dies, and ulcerates into an open wound that can take months to heal and leave a sunken scar. Rarely, it turns systemic most dangerously in children. There's a strange mercy in how shy it is. Studies of heavily infested homes have found families living with enormous numbers of these spiders for years without a serious bite. It bites almost only when trapped against skin, caught in a sleeve, a shoe, a bedsheet. And the bite is often painless at first. That's the trap. By the time an Ozark local realizes the recluse was there, the wound is already opening, which is why they shake out their boots and gloves before putting them on. Number 3. The black bear. At number 3 is an animal most people don't realize is even here, and its numbers are exploding. By the late 1800s, logging and unregulated hunting had all but wiped the black bear out of the Ozarks. Then starting in the late 1950s, Arkansas trapped and released more than 250 bears from Minnesota and Canada into the Ozark and Ouachita Mountains. It worked almost too well. Today, Arkansas holds an estimated 5,000 to 6,000 black bears. Those bears have walked north on their own, recolonizing the Missouri Ozarks, a population up from next to nothing to well over 1,000, growing 8 to 9% a year, which means it doubles about every decade. In one recent year, Missouri fielded 372 bear reports across 70 counties, and one tagged bear crossed the Missouri River and wandered clear to the far side of the state. Most black bears are shy and will flee. What turns one dangerous is us. A bear that finds an easy meal in a cooler, a bird feeder, a trash can, or a deer feeder stops being afraid. It comes back, comes closer, and teaches its cubs to do the same. Officials repeat the same grim line every year. A fed bear is a dead bear because the bold ones are the ones that eventually have to be put down. In 2026, the region was shaken by 2 separate fatal bear attacks near the Ozarks, a marker of how far the comeback has come. The fear isn't that a bear will hunt you down, it's that a powerful animal the Ozarks forgot they had is back, in the exact places people live, and the whole region is quietly relearning how to share the woods with it. Number 2, the Lone Star Tick. At number 2 is an animal the size of a sesame seed, and among people who actually live here, it may be the most feared thing on this entire list, because the Ozarks are one of the worst places in America for it. The Lone Star Tick is incredibly abundant in the Ozark and Ouachita Mountains, where, in the words of one surveillance report, it attacks in swarms. Start with the behavior, because it's worse than people think. Most ticks sit and wait. The Lone Star Tick hunts, it senses a host, and actively crawls toward it. It's aggressive, it feeds on humans readily, and it turns up in numbers that can leave a hiker's legs crawling after a single walk through the brushy forest edge it loves. And of everything it carries, one thing haunts the region like nothing else: alpha-gal syndrome. A single bite can rewire your immune system and leave you allergic to red meat, beef, pork, and lamb for years, sometimes for life. A hamburger can trigger a violent, dangerous reaction. In Arkansas, confirmed and probable cases jumped from 70 in 2023 to 344 in 2024, with hundreds more the year after. On top of that, it carries ehrlichiosis, tularemia, and STARI. For a lot of Ozark families, this is the animal that genuinely changed their lives, the reason they tuck their pants into their socks, spray down before the woods, and check their kids head to toe after. It's this high because it's everywhere, it comes toward you on purpose, and one bite you never felt can take red meat away from you forever. Number 1, the American dog tick. And so we arrive at number 1, and it's the reason this whole list exists. It's another tick, the American dog tick, and it patrols the trail margins and roadside clearings of these hills. It looks like nothing. What it carries has made this region a national epicenter of disease, and delivered 2 brand new killers that were discovered right here in the last 15 years. Start with what's been here all along. This tick is the main carrier of Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and Arkansas reports some of the highest rates in the entire country, a disease that, caught late, can cause amputation, organ failure, and death. Zoom out, and it's worse. Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma together account for roughly a third of all the human ehrlichiosis reported in the United States. Missouri, health officials say flatly, leads the nation in tick-borne disease. Then it got worse. In 2009, doctors in Missouri identified a virus never known to science before, the Heartland virus, in 2 farmers bitten by ticks. There's no treatment and no vaccine, and it has killed. 5 years later, a man in Bourbon County on the Kansas-Missouri line died of yet another completely new tick-borne virus, the Bourbon virus, the first of its kind ever found to infect people in the Americas. It has also killed, including a Missouri State Park worker who was simply doing his job outdoors. Think about that. In the span of a few years, this one region produced 2 previously unknown, sometimes fatal viruses, both riding in on its ticks. And researchers admit the real number of infections is almost certainly higher than the handful confirmed because most people never get tested. This is the fear underneath all the others. The bear you can see, the snake you can sometimes hear. But the thing most likely to put an Ozark local in a hospital is invisible, painless, and riding on an animal smaller than a peppercorn, carrying diseases so new that some of them didn't even have names until the people of these hills started dying of them. So look back down the list. The Cottonmouth and the bear are what a postcard would warn you about. The fangs, the size, the obvious teeth. But the closer we climb to what an Ozark native actually fears, the smaller and quieter the danger got. A spider in the woodpile. A bite you never felt. A tick that hunts. A virus with no name until recently. The rivers still run clear, the hills are still green. The float trips still launch on Saturday mornings, the way they always have. And the people who know these woods best still check every inch of their skin when they come back out. What is known is that the Ozarks are exactly as gentle as they look, and exactly as dangerous as they don't, both at once, on the same soft green hill. That these worn, old mountains have been quietly incubating brand new diseases while everyone was watching for bears and snakes. And that somewhere in these hills this evening, in the leaf litter along a trail, a family will walk tomorrow. Something too small to feel is already climbing toward the warmth, doing what it has always done in this country, carrying something we may not even have a name for yet.